Okay, so today we are going to do Detox Unit bounce. Let's get it.
But I'll be
So, I'm not going to talk about drums. They're drums. They sound like drums. I will talk about everything else though. So I got the sub here. This is sine wave, just doing a little bit of FM on the sine wave. And I've added a fifth harmonic onto this because it widens the top of it out. You get a really nice full sound out of that. Beefs up the subs just a little bit more. And an important trick that he uses is adding a lot of movement into his subs. Something that I will show you is you take like an LFO tool and then you drop this down, and this is going to create like a little bit of a punch. So what you're going to do is you're going to pop into the matrix. I already have one here. And then you're going to go LFO, whichever LFO you're using, LFO 2 into the global master tuning. And then you're going to click this so it's going one direction. So it's not bipolar, it's unipolar. And then you can just add this into taste. Oh yeah, you're going to want to click envelope so it's one shot essentially. So every time if you listen to this, the more you push into here, the more you're going to get a punch the way the note hits. It's the easy way to add a little bit of punch into whatever sound that you're using it for. Another little trick is if you have that and you want to turn that up, you can take one of these macros and drop it onto the y-axis. And then so when you have that here, see, where did that go? Macro 4. Yeah, so you're going to take this and extend it all the way. So then, and then you might say, call this like punch. And then so every time you can automate, I'm assuming that that would be the last macro. Yeah, you can automate that to add punch into certain notes if you want. That's a good way to add some nice punch into the beginning of your sound. And then obviously he's a fan of pitch bending, which creates a lot of movement. You can do this with not just subs, but obviously any synth, texture, sound. Just taking any, even something that's very subtle is just having like a pad, and then you just, take a little bit of a pitch bend and ramp it into the next section of your track. So it gives a little bit of a boost, adding energy into the next bar. It's an easy way to add some movement into your tracks. I will give this patch away. Here's the effects. Just a little bit of saturation, not much. Filtering out the highs, not really doing anything to it. Just a little bit of FM on the bass line and then thickening out the sub. If you drop a comment below, I'll give you the patch for this in Serum. You can drop your Discord names. I'll add you on Discord and I'll shoot you the patches in Discord. Next, where we have, okay, let's talk about the quacks. Everyone loves talking about the quacks. Really quickly, quacks are just a saw wave with some coarse pitch. I've got the coarse pitch here. It's probably pitching this. You just drop it, subtle pitch. And then you obviously can control the pitch, turning these into a sequence of sorts, and controlling the vocal tone or the phrasing of it by working with the LFO tool. So the quacks, if you're any old duck, you can make a quack. That's all that they are. This one was my favorite sound to make. This little, there's some bubbly little boys. I just got a square wave here with a nice resonant peak on this, and I also have like a dual band pass or whatever. Yeah, dual band double notch. You'd call that filter shape, but I got a band pass down here too. So we're just catching like the mids with a lot of resonance. Nothing too special. A little bit of saturation there too, distortion. And something that he did that was cool in this track that I noticed was this. And this sound in the original, if you listen to going into the drop, yeah, right here in this section, the reverb that comes off of this, in this section, it becomes extremely textured from a phaser. Adds a really cool texture to the track, and I think that's a good takeaway from his song is if you have like a beat, bass line, maybe a melody and you're bored of your mix, utilize the tools that you have, because filling it in doesn't make it better necessarily. Like I think the reason why he can achieve really good mix downs and masters is because his stuff is kind of stripped back, but it gives it that fullness. It gives space for everything in the mix. And so if you take the things that you have, let's say for example I have this filter, or I have this little feedback chunky boy here, drop a channel on there, resample it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to solo that. I have a reverb on my sends here. So record an element that you already have in your song and then utilize that to create texture and space and movement. Now you essentially have this riser, and you can take this and reverse it and then bring it into the next section of the song. And this is going to create a lot of movement. I would put it back into where you have a side chain in your mix already, so it's not getting a little too cluttered. So if you listen to the song now, it kind of leads up into that and creates a lot more movement in your mix. And you can do that for, like every other time it happens, and then you'll feel like a lot more energy is going on in the song. So utilizing little tricks like that, I think those are probably the most important thing. Filling a song out, it's going to make it a lot harder on your mix down process if you have, XYZ sounds all cluttering up the same space, but just a little bit of reverb can go a long way. And also don't forget to take that reverb back down later on after you've resampled, or it's just going to sound like noise across your whole track. But yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to talk about there. Drop a comment if you have more ideas or want to talk about more sound design tips. Always open to take requests. Leave your Discord names down there. I'll add you and we can chat on Discord. All right, cheers.